We are here for the grand finale, the open final here in Bruges, Tom's Tourney 2024. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Hannah Pendlebury to bring you the action here on ULTI.TV. Mooncatchers from Brussels taking on Laotta from Bologna. Hanny, tell me about how these teams got here. Tell me a bit about their journey thus far.
Well, both emerging from top spots in their pools. Mooncatchers cruising through the pack in Group A, taking wins over Chevy, Frisbee and US Padova. But of course it was and Bora, we can't forget Bora with their excellent socks. But Laotta has slightly mixed fortunes coming into this match. They of course had that loss to Bristol Open in the early stages, but managed to tussle their way through the pack and best things out to end up in prime position. But then looking at the bracket, it's a pretty familiar affair. We had a Mooncatchers Clapham sort of semi-final action going on the live stream. That one is Clapham's D-line with a couple of extra personnel. I mean, the highlight of that game for me, Steph, was just Tom Abrams' pulls.
Yeah.
Oh, absolute divine. So we got to see a full stretch Moon offense, but they love that. They love the space. They love the ability to just work it through. But Laotta really cleaned it up. Obviously, that game against Bristol was in testy conditions. Friday was absolutely horrendous. We had wind, we had rain, we had people slipping everywhere here on the field pitch in front of you. It's still a little bit soft and soggy underfoot, but actually it just means it's perfect for laying out conditions. So we expect to see lots of blocks. Gaten van den Broek in the semi-final, as well as Dan de Marais having his usual affair. Laotta, though, absolutely undid Chuck from Pornichet in their semi-final. They really did just absolutely boost it. They were picture perfect on so many of their throws. They were throwing them out there though, so I think against this Mooncatchers side, they're not going to get away with so many of them. All of the players on Moon more or less have the ability to go toe-to-toe with those athletic bids. They've got plenty of height matchups, plenty of individuals who've tussled against each other many, many times up till this point, Stefan, including, of course, last year at UCF.
Yeah, that was what you just got me thinking about, Hannah, talking about it, the instant classic, that semi-final last year that really gassed the Mooncatchers before they went into their finals game against Clapham and cost them the title, perhaps. Laotta have made claims that whoever plays them in the semi, if they get through them, they lose in the finals. They take everything out of them. It happened to Clapham when they lost to Ranelagh the year prior, a tight semi against Fotta. Happened to Moon last year. But right here, Fotta have made it to the dance at Tom's. Demarais sends the pull, and the final is underway.
Well, we will fix our scoreboard for you.
Clearly, there we go. Start of a fresh game here. Laffi to Gasperini. Sebarossi, the stallion from Rimini, playing here in Bologna, or here with Bologna. Looking around for options. Mancinelli gets it again. Upfield, Gasperini. So light and lightning quick on his toes, Gasperini. Ooh, the bid from Abeltinch, but Gas hangs on. Now Laffi holding his line to that disc, goes around Gasperini. Look upfield, goes wide, and Laffi again. Laffi quick to the corner, and a bid came from Bertrand, but Rossi takes it and puts the spike back in the direction.
Yeah, Bertrand Core heavy on a little bit of contact there, but all fine. I really enjoyed watching that point from Bologna. BFD Laotta just being very conservative in the early stages of this game. You saw a little moment where Bickmans and de Marais, I think, just got in each other's way, I think. Both of them are considering going for a spicy little block on that line shot to the near side of this pitch, but just really taking their time. You can see Abeltinch gets out of position by going for the gamble, but you've got to take your risks, and early on in the stages of this final you can get away with them. Of course, still a 60-minute time slot though, so a brutal proceedings. If either team runs away with a lead, it will be very, very difficult for their opponents to claw their way back, because you just don't have that much time to do it. But Laffy putting in a nice goal in the end.
As mentioned, for those of you that have been diligently following along with all the action all weekend long, the one difference in these finals, the two differences are that it is a cap +2 if we hit time before 13, and it is a one timeout per team per half rather than one only per game, as the Mooncatchers have their first look of offense. Yonkers comes to the near sideline to spot Blasman. Blasman finds center. Mueller takes a look upfield. Dump space. Blasman gets it out to the sideline. Oczynski turns upfield, feeds a nice backhand under the arm there. Karklinch. Backhand into the defender and then recoils and goes back to Blasman. Scoop over top to Yonkers. Automatic fake as he turns. Now Arters, the American pickup. Gets one and back to Yonkers. Inside break. Blasman now leans out and throws in to Karklinch, and a clean hold right back the other way.
I just want to talk about the matchups here. I mean, you've got a lot of height on the Mooncatchers O-line. Of course, a lot of the Brussels boys connecting with their friends from further afield. Of course, they don't take just anybody. They do have to be the right style. For a long time, the Latvians have come across. You have Abeltinch on the D-line, of course, Karklins on the O-line. But the matchup of David Barsazi being one of the smaller players on this roster for the O-line of Mooncatchers, Mathieu Muller. But of course, he's a real target in the end zone. He's able to find space in such a dynamic way that actually putting Barsazi on the massive athlete that he is, just a big, big human, rather than going for kind of stretch for stretch matchups. I kind of like the creativity and seeing what the Italians are doing, especially in putting those really agile Hannah defenders on the likes of Yonkers and Ort.
No shortage of tactical adjustments coming from the Italian side. Of course, Morty helped build the program. Andrea Gerosa at the helm right now. The Italians will make the adjustments necessary and will do everything they can to hang in here and fight. Right now, still sitting in the advantage seat. They'd won the pull, and there's been nothing but holds on these first two opening points.
One of the stats that actually the Italians do record quite religiously almost is whether a pull is in or out of bounds and the impact that that has on defence.
Laffy walks it to the line. Gasperini comes under. Only looking upfield, it's Rossi in between Demare. Oh my goodness, he got up on a ladder. Mate not in yet. And shovel pass into the guts of Casanelli. How about Semarossi?
I mean, how about him? He just does what he does. It's honestly such an absolute abject pleasure to watch Sebastian Rossi play ultimate Frisbee, especially watching him go toe-to-toe with Dan Demare. Of course, those two having a good tussle last season at the Under-24s World Championships. There was an absolute thriller of a matchup between the Italian national team and the Belgian national team, of course, who ended up going and advancing to the final. Very successful campaign, of course, for the Belgian athletes in general, as we get another look at that absolute ripper. But he just makes it look so easy. And the throw through to Kais Mate, who of course is one of the newbies to this roster, the youngster coming out of France.
Yeah, RFO club, naturally, I suppose, is where he grew up playing. He's a second generation player as well. Played with Bologna in the Red Bulls program a few years back, and now has got the call up as a external, internal. He's been around long enough, and they like what he's doing, and I like that decision for selection to put him up onto La Fotta.
Absolutely. We really are living in the world of if they add value to your team and they want to join, why on earth wouldn't you?
Yonkers goes to Ort. Ort spent a year in D.C. last year, as many know. now injected into this Mooncatchers offense. Bontemps hits Blasman, and that was quick and easy. Moon just trounced up the field.
What a compare and contrast we have with this Moon offense coming out in the early stages of this game versus what they showed us in their semi-final against Clapham. Clapham, I think, were using a little bit more kind of flat, passive marks, not really allowing any of that motion through the middle. Yes, you had a couple of spoils that let things go on the run, but it just seems like the matchups are a little bit, I don't know, just not quite keeping pace with the drive through from the back set in that goal. But Blasman, one of the new members for this 2024 season, of course, a former ULTI player in the mixed division, decided not to join the ULTI Open squad, but rather come across and play with Moon. And of course, they also have Ben Orich, who's back from North America.
Another nice pull. Great pull reception by Mancinelli. Love that. Could have let that go, roll out, and have the defense fully set, and he took a very risky, some would consider it, but I think those are catches that need to be trained for and taken like Mancinelli did. Foul called, Hanny.
Yeah, just going to have a brief discussion. Seems to be accepted.
Leading throw goes to the sideline. Sarako centers to Laffy. Looks at the backhand and now back again to the backhand side. He gets Gasperini. Central. Laffy. Laffy jams one to Casanelli. Mancinelli. Sarako. Sarako wisely hangs on. He saw the defense sneaking up the back hip there. Rossi to Rossi. Sebastian Rossi gives and goes with Laffy, and now Gasperini. Gasperini puts it. He likes the look of Seba Rossi again, this time over Betrancourt, and Seba Rossi is heating up.
Well, Louis Betrancourt is a fantastic defender, but he does not have the decade and a bit of experience that Seba Rossi has in terms of reading those discs. You can see, again, it's almost still a little bit like the two defenders chasing down these opportunities for a block, almost sort of getting in each other's way, causing some confusion. I'd love to see a true one-on-one Rossi versus Demarais, the rising star versus the established name. But of course, it's been a long time. We've seen a lot of these Laotta boys coming out. Of course, they started in their youth and just really matured into world-class ultimate players.
Indeed, they've matured over the course of this weekend when they fell on day one, losing to Bristol. Speaking to Coach Gerosa, oh, everybody thinks we're done. We lose one game, it's going to be fine. We're still Laotta. It's like, okay, show us, Gerosa. And, well, they've been coming out and showing us ever since. They took the loss on the chin, maybe used the bad taste in their mouth to fuel the forward momentum, and have been propelled forward.
Well, this game is all about just getting a win. Doesn't matter how many it's by. As we see another big old pull.
Luca Tognetti, how's that pull? This is a great pulling game thus far.
Well, it's being brought to the brick mark, so either there was an offside called, which is now an immediate bricked pull.
It must have been. Well, either that or I don't know what happened. Arters takes one. Upfield to Yonkers, quick to Bontemps, and a Mooncatchers response. Looking at our scoreboard, Hannah, 0 turns. This game is scorching up to a 3-3 scoreline.
And 3 passes for that goal. Wow. Just wow. Obviously, you have ideal starting position there if you're Moon. Whatever it was, whether it was an offside or something going skew with the pull there that allowed that, that is just absolutely gorgeous. And I think the difference at the moment between the two teams is the fact that there are, yes, not moments of closure getting the block from from Mooncatchers when Laotta are on offense, but they're definitely making Laotta feel a bit more pressure. They're having to consider the options, take the right one, and there are moments where you see a couple of white shirts flash past that sniffing around the disc to try and gain possession and get that break of scoring. But at the moment, it's anyone's game, and I'm very excited about it.
Bologna gets it to Laffy for the first throw outside of the end zone. Then Zani gives to Rosi. Gasperini comes back to Casanelli and Mancinelli. He gives and gets going. The step in front. And Hoke has been stepping in front of a couple there, but hasn't got one. But wreaking some havoc as best he can. Casanelli around to Mancinelli, and he does pick it up. The right hand is sticky enough and calls the foul as he gets back to his feet.
That is the pressure, though.
Tapped in. Mancinelli quick to the corner. Casanelli is there. And we stay perfect in terms of cleanliness and holding.
We do. There are some gambles, though, coming out of the Mooncatchers defense. It's kind of what got exploited for that slicing lateral flow to get diagonally into the end zone at the last few moments. But yeah, it still just seems like there is a bit more challenge coming from Mooncatchers defense. But this is still the form that we saw from Laotta in their semi-final earlier on today, where they just looked squeaky clean, like a mirror that had every streak mark it ever had removed with the finest microfiber cloth.
And a brand new squeegee.
It's all about the squeegee with you, Steph.
You better believe it. A shout out to all of you back home. Thanks for joining. The numbers continue to mount. There's, again, more than 900 live at this very moment. We love seeing that. While you're there, hit that like button, subscribe. Let's help to get us up to 24,000 subscribers, a new goal of ours to get there as soon as possible. Tom Blassman goes into the backfield. Arders chucks a low one to Yonkers. Blassman.
Finally, we see that Italian zone coming out, very famous, and it's causing a little bit of issue for Mooncatchers. A lot of these passes, Steph, are very, very low, and they're just about keeping them off the blades of grass. Yeah, some speculators indeed to kick off the possession. The zone was very effective against Chak, but not so effective against that hammer. Mueller gets Ochinsky charging through, and Chinsky scoops one up to Arders. Roger there to try and defend. Arders leads, Mueller chase, and he's in on the far sideline in the goal. Yep, I told you, it's Mathieu Müller, one of the real weapons in the end zone for Mooncatchers. I like the introduction of the Italian zone. We know how much it flexes. The adaptations that the clipboard dictates for it are just a really great way to keep teams guessing. And that was the first time in this game, Stefan, we've really seen the Mooncatchers O-line properly challenged. See Roger there on the matchup with Paul Arters. And the shapeliness and curvature, if you're watching this one on demand, or you can scrabble back and then watch it 30 seconds behind, the way that Mathieu Müller set up that cut was very enjoyable. Just watch it back and watch the space that he gives himself, the angle that he takes up the line with, just really making it a very obvious target and a very nice option to throw to. As you see the scenes around Field 3 filling up to watch this final game, the Bruges Zot pouring freely, with a cost, but freely pouring. And the enjoyment levels mounting continually still. Gasperini, Casanelli, and then Laffy back inside to Casanelli. Inside throw, Zani takes some yardage. All the way around, Orozi had Zani but couldn't get the throw there. Now a visionary look to Gasperini, crosses the field
and gives it back. He tries to, and we've got ourselves the very first turn of the game.
Wow, what a gasp indeed for Gasparini. Gasp in horror, though. Usually it's a gasp of admiration, but I think after the expansive shot, just getting a little bit too hasty and thinking, oh yeah, we can throw whatever we want, but there is a little bit of wind.
Indeed now, and break chance for Moon. What a bid by Casanelli, but he did go through the body. Not the safest. Exciting for sure to see the body in flight, but that one's got to be put away.
Yeah, that was I do enjoy the camaraderie afterwards, after the going through the back of it, but that was nearly making a mess of the messmaker.
The messmaker throws under, Betrancourt clasps it to the chest. Hammers to Desmarais. That disc has got some wobble in it from that catch. Desmarais goes back to Abeltinch. Gets it again up line. Keep your eyes on that matchup, people, but this one's shot deep. Can Bakeman's get there? No. The shot too far in front by Desmarais, and there's a foul on the throw.
Accepted foul. It's not often that you're going to see Tanta Murray not hit his mark in the end zone. I love the fact that Bateman still goes for a layout bid anyway, just slipping and slide on this bouncy turf surface, because of course there's plenty of Belgian Ultimate fans here. We're not in Brussels, but we're just on the coast up north in Bruges, and the sun is shining, and the fans here really enjoying this action as much as we are, Steph.
Just a little bit of contact there, but enough. It was accepted. Van den Broek. And another pick upfield. Still in the hands of Van den Broek. Back in play, he goes around. Desmarais is spotted, and is there a violation or a pick?
Pick. Getting their flex on.
Van den Broek. Let's try this again, they say. Desmarais goes up line, but the inside throw goes back to Abeltinch. Now around. Desmarais has got all sorts of space there. Rossi catches up. Desmarais breaks the mark and has Van den Broek in the corner for a break. First of the game.
Well, there was nothing more you could have asked from Sebastian Rossi there. Absolutely hitting the deck to try and prevent that around break. But, of course, these athletes at this point, two elite club teams, they've had plenty of time matching up against each other, as they do know each other really, really well. And Desmarais damaging the spirits of Laotta. First break going the way of the Brussels lads. Of course, it was a fantastic, almost picture-perfect season until EUCF last year, Steph, for the boys from Brussels.
Yeah, we've mentioned that a few times, but indeed they were just winning everything. Again, their iteration of the Mooncatchers. There was a lot of Mooncatchers on the Belgian national team as well. They had incredible success with their season as well. They won Elite Invite. They won the Windmill. They won here at Tom's. They just were winning. But when push came to shove, Clapham did dig the heels in and really bounced them out of the gold medal podium spot.
Indeed. Well, you already mentioned it, to be fair, Steph. I think Clapham probably owed Laotta a few beers after the semi-final, which was an absolute stormer.
Oh, yeah.
If you've not watched that one back, we highly recommend you do.
Mancinelli and Laffy play in their own end. Back through to Mancinelli and Casanelli.
I'm loving the sagging handler defense set that Moon are running to try again and slow down the options, confuse the space.
Laffy, Casanelli. Kais Mate gets big yards now. And crossfield, Rossi zips one in, and Rossi from Rossi.
Yeah, beautiful connection there. I did like the slowdown from the handler, sagging set, but once Laotta got into flow, the downfield defenders just had nothing really to respond to the movement and the flow that was going on. Really beautiful timing, and just those finds to just move the disc laterally across. The timing, especially from Kais Mate, for a first-year player on this BFD side, to know the rest of your team already so well, or to have the vision to adjust so quickly, is a thing to behold.
Of course, on that last point, Liam Chrisafuli on the field playing for the Mooncatchers. He's moved to Brussels for studies, I believe, but a long-time Laotta player from Rimini as well, but has been playing with Laotta, has now joined the ranks of the Mooncatchers, so I'm sure he would have had a few insights before a game like this began to give advantage to his current team. Jonkers to Ort. Ort, high release backhand over the shoulder of the mark. Now goes to Karklinch. Pick upfield. Karklitz winds up a couple times, then goes back to Jonkers. Goes wide, Blastman adjusts and collects. Fakes the backhand, engages Arders, but tight defense by Simorazzi. David Barsazzi, oh my God, he is coming.
So there is a foul somewhere on the pitch. Not anywhere near the disc, but what a beautiful... David Barzazzi's body control, Stefan, is just phenomenal.
Yeah, he lays out as good as anybody, particularly defensively. It lays out as well as anybody I know. Jonkers, hammer, and it's hanging up. Karklins is the bigger body, but cannot get the hand turned around. He's talking about some contact now.
Well, that did seem to fall out of Arvid Karlinch's hands, which is a very rare sight for the Latvian. Of course, Latvia are more excited, well, not excited, more renowned for playing in the indoor scene, and certainly in that particular region, playing to great effect. Big venues that don't allow quite that height of hammer, but you can see a little bit of action underneath. Laffy sort of perhaps under that shoulder, knocking the core around of Karlinch, but I've seen players in the Open Division take a lot more contact than that and not call anything, Steph.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, there was some contact. Karklins had his left hand down on the shoulder of Alberto Laffi as he was going up, while that contact was simultaneously coming into him. Did still hit him in the hand, and he wasn't able to squeeze it. One more look here. Opinions from you at home, we're happy to hear.
Oh, Steph, the chat never a fan of a foul call.
It does go back in the hands of Karklins. He gives the lefty wobbler to Jonkers, and they're on the doorstep looking for the around, not there. Now engages Karklins. Fakes and goes around. Ben Ort with the discs, far sideline near the corner. Crosses field, Muller's there. And Moon go on the board, 6-5, the score now.
You know, Matthew Miller must just have some absolutely, like, diabolically gorgeous eyelashes or some kind of hypnotic stare, because of the work rate that man has in the end zone is really very, very impressive. It's like he stares at the thrower, and the thrower just goes, oh, no, only you, Matthew. I must throw you the Frisbee now. But beautiful option. Karklinch, of course, the foul that was accepted. And that little bit of expansion, or it's throwing it to the non-dangerous side because Muller had just gently stepped his well away. But also, Steph, that is a lack of focus and attention from the sideline. The athletes not on the pitch should 100% have been notifying the defenders to the fact that Muller was just slipping away into that good night.
So the chat has spoken. Great to have your opinions. Great to have you here with us. Love having Ultimate for you, live and free, and engagement able. BFD, Gasparini, and Laffy saves the possession. Inside to Saracco. Now Gasparini, middle of the field. In the attacking end, Mancinelli leads. Casanelli very quick to Gasparini. He goes right back to Casanelli. Looking for a gap. Back of the end zone, had hands up, but not available. Laffy. Little shoulder shake and goes to Saracco. Gasparini. A couple looks of players right in front. Does push one forward. And Mancinelli runs into it. Mancinelli's been having a heck of a game out there.
He absolutely has. Well, that is a goal to go with his 1 assist already. So involved in a third of the Laotta goals in this game thus far. But I have to say the work rate of everyone on the pitch has been pretty good. We're currently 6 apiece, and the jingle for half-time, we have half-times. Tom's Tourney, not just in the final. Goodness gracious me, strange things occurring, of course. This not being a EUCS ranking game, of course, just to clarify, even though BFD Laotta are playing for points here, it's not the case for Mooncatchers, who've not elected for it. So 29 minutes and change expired on the game clock. We will soon be having half-time, but not quite yet, which means we're probably, well, almost certainly going to get a score cap of 8 as per usual, because these games being played to 15 soft cap.
Things running on pace as another big pull. And Blastman lets it land so Yonkers can pick up. Ort distributes to Arders. Arders goes up and over and gets Ort in the backfield. Carclinch comes under. Now Bonton. Ben Ort to Oczynski. Oczynski spins around, then gets the find to Ort. Ort winds up and then has another look. The fill comes from Carclinch. High stall count, he goes to the other side of the mark. And Yonkers finds the seam up the line. Blastman there. And that'll take it to 7-6. Moon stay in front by 1.
Half-time at 8 points.
So as confirmed by the announcers here, by the live streaming showcase field, we will have a half-time at 8 points. But it's going to have to be a break to get it for BDF Laotta, BFD even, like a big friendly disc. But that's a little bit of a stumble but not a fall for Blastman collecting that goal. I do like the way that the Mooncatchers offense just sort of stays out of the way for a while, but they have a very deep stack. They really position that collection of players very effectively, because intelligent defenses tend to get quite good at bracketing a vertical stack, especially when it's quite small, like Mooncatchers is. But they really do have discipline in finding the spaces and just gunning out around. Of course, it really helps that they have so many powerful throwers on their O-line. If you let a single solitary individual go to the deep space, they can be hit from anywhere on the pitch, more or less, by, I think, probably all, if not 99% of the roster on that O-line. And that's on an average day.
Yeah. And today's pretty average. No wind to really mess with that any. Votsi to Mate. Goes back to Casanelli. He finds Laffy coming under. Gasparini stutters, but Rossi fills. Rossi to Rossi. Bounce. Again, keep your eye on that matchup there. Number 10 in white against 8 in black. Those two will be swinging. Votsi goes wide. Laffy has to mind the sideline. He does it well. Replaces his pivot foot, and Votsi goes wide. Gas, 2 hands on it. Gasparini to Rossi. No, and Rossi throws late, and Crisafulli runs through.
You know, Steph, I was just preparing in my mind what I was going to say to compliment the players on this point, but the awareness up until that moment of miscue was just really great. The players watching each other on the field, seeing where the space was, where each other were. But they didn't see the stumble there, and that's taken away.
Votsi knocks it away. Now Laffy, and they're in good position to get this hold, even though she won't be clean anymore. Votsi to Rossi. Rossi goes back inside. Laffy on the doorstep. Back to Votsi. Gasparini goes around. Laffy in the corner. Couple mullets on the board. We're playing the Galaxy.
We love to see it, Steph. Of course, Moon started the game on defense, so they will get a free point coming out into the second half if they can punch this one in and get themselves a buy one, get one free situation, because they broke in the earlier stages of this game. But a solid recovery from BFD Laotta. Still a flawless performance from Mooncatchers O-line. They have yet to stumble. There's lots of chat going on YouTube about, of course, that foul call that Carlinch made. But, you know, we'll let you folks pick that one apart. Although the thing that did make me laugh, Stefan, is the idea that if you're that much shorter than your player, you should be allowed to foul them to try and even things out.
That's a mentality I may have taken on in my playing days.
I feel like there's some amazing pocket rockets who play in the ultimate community at a very elite level and have amazing body control that are probably good counterpoint to that.
You're right. The pocket rockets will still get up. They'll be worth their weight in gold, even if they're a little lighter. So we're playing 4-half here, 7-7, game to 8. We've got more than 1,000 online watching live. Love to see these numbers mount. We would love to see the like numbers mount as well. Go ahead, click that button. It's a short break in the action here before this poll goes up. It's the perfect time to click that button, hit that like. Let us know how much you really do like all this action from Tom's.
We love a Galaxy point.
Only thing better is a universe point. And we could get both.
Joe Cole, why not?
Great pull, very back corner, but great pull reception as well. Blasman there to pick it up and put it into play immediately. Gainer to Carclin. She fakes the deep. Muller goes up top. Goes wide to Bontemps. Barsazi had a very wide mark on that, almost a finger. Ort comes to the center. Every Mooncatcher seems to wind up a big, at least as a fake, every time they get. Blasman comes under. Gives a big fake. Throws over top. Ort had to work to catch up and then goes under to Arters. Arters to Muller. Right back to Ort. Mooncatchers offense clicking away to the midfield. Nice throw by Ort up and over to Yonkers on the far sideline. Yonkers gets low and throws a flick into Ort. And now Yonkers dances around to get free of Casanelli. Yonkers has two options he didn't like. Now he goes across to Ort. There's a bit of space there. No, not yet. Does go the hammer. Bontemps is there. Does he have room? Half of the fans are giving their perspective. I think Simonazzi says yes, it's a goal as well. And just enough room. They tow it in and take Galaxy point.
Well, none of the fans on the sideline seem to know their rules. They can't actually get involved until they're asked to. But I do like the immediate signalling. They enjoyed that play. And fantastic footwork from Sophie Bontemps, as always.
So we're going to take you into the half. It is the Tokai first half summary. We're going to run things down, have another look at how this first half shaped itself out, Hannah. It's been a great game. Anybody's game here, of course, when it goes to Galaxy. It is, you can slice it any which way you like, and we're getting a good game here. I have a feeling it's going to Universe, but I don't want to make too many bold predictions.
It's not that bold. It really is a case of tightening up. But let's have a look at some of the highlights of the first half of this game, Steph.
And here is a look from the start of the game. Some of the action that set up this neck-and-neck scoreline. Oh, the big grab from Rossi. He's had a heck of a game. Roofs the opposition there, and Mate shovels one into Casanelli. Oh, how about that bid? A little bit too much contact, we reckon. Hey, Hanny. And that one did get called as a foul. Blastman's bid, Barsazi sending himself, doing everything to keep Laotta in this, but it is Moon who is feeling the pressure but continue to make completions, make scores, and here's the half taker. Ben Ort goes big to Sofiane Bontemps, and that is how the first half summary, the Tokai halftime show, wraps itself up. We're ready for more action. Second half is going to be a cracker. What more can be said about Toms in this tournament, Hannah? It is just, we're sitting in the lap of luxury. The weather has come good on the final day. Hanny's still got a little bit left of her Brugesot.
Just a little bit.
Mine's evaporating more. It's hotter on this side of the table. I think there's more sun getting to it. And we are ready for second half action as Luca Tognetti gets that spin pull up underway. And Mooncatchers will have the benefit of the potential. 2 for none. Arters goes to Oczynski, and Blastman quickly delivers. Yonkers goes backwards, Oczynski.
And we see a re-emergence of the zone, Steph. When they've been playing match, the Italian defenders are really just one-on-oneing, not trying to be cheeky, not trying to snipe anything away super often. But I love using this zone, even in the lower wing conditions.
Nice hammer by Arters to find Ort in the flats. Ort looks upfield, looks like the Italians have transitioned to match defense. High stall count, chucks one hard into Yonkers, not in the end zone, on the line. Celebrated like it was in, I think, and then sends up a speculator, but it's not a speculator when it's Bontemps you're throwing to. He gets up and over Bobinets.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Stefan. I still remember Sofiane Bontemps at that indoor club championships back in Lithuania, absolutely ascending during the course of that season. And not just one of a number, of course, on this Mooncatchers squad, but they really do have a full flush of talent, and they properly put that lead now on the scoreboard. That break and leading the charge. Having started on defence, Mooncatchers now really putting the pressure on Laotta. There we go, a little bit again, not quite as aware. It's a really, when you kind of can feel it when you're watching Moon play defence. Yes, there are moments where you think, oh, that could have gone very badly, that could have been exploited, but they are just have a different level of awareness of what's going on around them with the other matchups, where it seems like, especially when playing person coverage defense, Laotta are really intensely trying to shut down individual matchups and don't really kind of always seem to figure out how that defense is playing in the wider puzzle.
And so it's Zani who throws under, and the youngster Sadako gives an option. Rossi, and we still get that matchup again and again. It's a great one. Keep your eyes on it. Rossi and Desmarais going toe-to-toe here. Rossi dumps back to Laffi. Laffi to Mancinelli. And the around the help defense came. Somebody's open. Not able to expose the poach. Sadako was free, but that's covered up now. And there is a foul called, I think, from the cutting side of things. Accepted. And Mancinelli will take possession. Sadako comes under. Zani around, and a lot of traffic flying all over. And the Italians try and move the other way while defenders pick themselves up off the ground. Casanelli has time to adjust and gets the completion overhead. Mancinelli, Casanelli. Quick, Sadako gets it falling. Spin around on the pivot, and Gasparini throws low. I think he calls a foul on it. Him and Crisafulli, ex-teammates, discussing.
It's an interesting one because I kind of thought there was a lot of contact on that throw, but the decision was made to still release it regardless because yeah, it's that bump just before the release, I guess. So, foul call, I think that's legitimate, and it is accepted by Crisafulli.
Accepted foul back in the hands of Gasparini. From the attacking brick mark goes to Casanelli. Laffi recentered. Casanelli makes a nice juking move. Crosses the field and milks it in for another goal. 8-9, they're back within one.
Oh, the disc placement of Arturo Laffi again and again, just such a consistent deliverer, conductor. Of course, he's been playing with BFD longer than I can really remember at this point.
Yeah, Laffi, I mean, as long as I've known anything about European Ultimate, he's been part of the program. And even before, even like on the radar, well before I had come to Europe, Laffi's been doing it forever and ever.
And there's a rising star on your screen there, Sadako. Absolute stunner. He played at EYUC last year. Such a young athlete with such a bright future ahead of him, especially training on a weekly basis with the likes of his teammates. But that's really intensive pressure that Moon was able to deliver again on Lafotta's O-line. Made them really scuttle around and scuffle for it. Laffi, of course, putting a beautiful shape on that break side throw to allow the milking into the end zone. But it does seem like the Italians just slightly behind in this horse race. They can, and they have done many times before, nudge their nose in front. But at the moment, it's Moon who have been ruthlessly efficient on offense.
Yeah, they've got their hands on a couple of opportunities, very few, but they have not managed to break yet, and that's what they'll need. They'll have a chance now playing defense. Blastman.
Well, Steph, they haven't had a single opportunity. There's not been a single turn for the O-line for Moon.
Unbelievable. I stand corrected. Yonkers goes across. And is that an upside down backhand to Bontemps?
You better believe it, Stefan. There's so little wind here. It's just a thrower's breeze. So any option is available, especially when you can see Bontemps just hitting that back cone on the break side. You know he's going to back you up, even if he has to end up looking very good for it off of a mediocre launch. But I think at this stage in the game as well, you can really see the amount of enjoyment that this Mooncatchers O-line has with each other.
Let's have another look at this. This throw is not one you're going to see every day. Oh, it is a scuba. It's a low-release scuba.
No, it is. It's an upside-down backhand. You had it right the first time. You didn't go in a scuba grip because otherwise his hand would have been the other angle on top. Okay. You're quite right. That thumb is over the edge of the rim. It's an upside-down backhand. And I actually really like that as a shot. If you can get exactly the right amount of snap on the disc, why the heck not?
One more look at it.
Yeah, this is now where I'm going to look really silly, isn't it? No, yeah, that thumb's on top.
Yeah, you're right.
Phew.
You're right. I'm right originally.
Exactly. Just back yourself, mate. You got to back yourself, Steph.
And Fotta are going to have to hold here and still look for ways to slow down this red-hot Mooncatcher team. The deep shot from Zani, Kais Mate in front, and moves it in, or at least onto the line. Dumps back quickly. Mancinelli to center and misses as Bakemans comes flying through.
Ooh, wow, he is baking a cake full of manic effort. Wow.
Demarais leads to Bakemans. Bakemans to Vandenbroek. High to Appleton, she takes. High-ish stall count, but he gets Vandenbroek on a chopping inside flick. Demarais holds up the disc and takes the timeout. They're going to think about this one. We're going to take a short break here, too. We'll be right back with more second half action from the open final at Tom's Tourney. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live. And we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it!
Back in action, 10-8 the scoreline. Mooncatchers up ahead of Fotta. Moon have been red hot, Hannah. Again, turned free over the course of this entire game. Bologna is going to need to find some kind of crowbar to throw in the spokes here because Right now they are just cruising on through.
Yeah, they have tried different looks on defense. They've tried zone and various other bits, but of course this is the O-line of Laotta coming out. Rossi getting us tapping underway.
Abeltinch goes around Desmarais, Vandenbroek, and Desmarais straight back. Pushy up in front and leading throw to Desmarais. That is some hot play between those two. Desmarais goes back. Vandenbroek centers to Abeltinch. Desmarais again. Far sideline. And we've got a stoppage upfield.
You can spot Ref Yonkers on the far sideline. Not quite returned from injury.
But planning on it and recovering on a good pace now. Abeltinch goes back to Desmarais. Composed as they've been throughout the game. Bakemans tries to get around, was not able to there. Seeking what would be only the second break of the game. They are meters away, Bakemans. Desmarais jumping on his toes before he cuts, then goes and throws high. Betrancourt throws back to Desmarais. Bakemans gets going, but the fill comes from Vandenbroek, and there's a call there as Desmarais was free on the upline cut.
Something I just want to take a brief moment to mention, Steph, is the fact that the weather conditions have ever so slightly changed. The wind has definitely picked up fairly considerably since the earlier stages of this game. So just to kind of bring that little bit of intel in for you and how that might be impacting the plays.
Vandenbroek goes around to Desmarais. Abeltinch has a look at the end zone, then engages. No mark on him as Laffy went to help. Vandenbroek quick in, Bakeman's toe down, break for the Moon. Make it 12-8.
Whoa! John Bakemans, wow. Wow. Well, the reason I wanted to mention the wind is because it might start impacting the throws, which I think maybe not really the wind for Gaten Vandenbroek. They're just a bit of a weird pivot center of gravity issue, because that one absolutely took off like a flipping firework. But the bomb technician, the defusal of John Bakemans ripping that one back down with gravity. Wow. I mean, it's throwing on the run, very difficult to do, but certainly not making life easy for Bakemans on the catch. Did make it undeable though, because that came out with a heck of pace. And indeed, another on the board for Mooncatchers. 2 breaks to the better of Laotta. And they're running out of time to have the comeback, Steph. It's going to be quite the train of breaks required, because just under 5 minutes remaining of regulation time in the 60-minute time slot.
Are you saying it's impossible?
No, absolutely not impossible. I'm just saying it's difficult. You've not you've not even turned Moon's O-line yet. Yes, we've had a slightly controversial foul call that ended up going back, but then not to have had a single turnover so far in a game against an elite quality team. I mean, I'm getting a very familiar feeling to last season already, Steph.
Yes, I am getting a very similar feeling, even though I question the impossibility of it. There is always a possibility as Rosie comes under. Low throw, but I think Zani does keep that one alive. Sideline says yes. Zani throws high. Gasparini on the chase. Can he beat Crisafulli? Not this time. Crisafulli swipes over the top and takes it out.
Oh, undone by your own former teammate. But what a fantastic effort for Gasparini. He would have caught that almost by the skin of his fingers.
Yeah, the throw notedly not on by Zani to get it there. Now the throw up the middle by the Mooncatchers. Big one goes. Desmarais is behind the defense. Will he stay in bounds? No, he can't. And he is signing autographs in the crowd over there.
Signing autographs with his knees, I think. That looks to be a bunch of Clapham lads. Foul is going to be called, perhaps a foul out there. Sarako obviously putting big pressure. I think Sarako at some point had a hat, you know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that force out. I think Dan had to go up and force his foot down. Sarako had nowhere to go. Sure, there's contact, but for me, that call is...
I think the problem is not with any of this. The problem is with the throw. But let's listen to what they say.
I think also Tilly was able to reach she's cool. Yeah, but out the pitch. Yeah, I thought she cleared. But I touched it in my hand, no? Yeah, but you were in the air. Yeah, but I think I touched it in the sky. What's on the live stream with us? Otherwise, I'll take my call.
They're asking for it. I thought they're going to play it.
Here's another look at the replay. Went up and down. The drop wasn't affected by the...
I don't know, there is a little bit of an elbow bar going into the back, but it's going to be called a turnover after the discussion with the sideline.
I feel that's the best outcome.
It wasn't a great throw. Bertrancourt, there's a reason why you don't see Louis Bertrancourt throw many hucks. But he's on the D-line, so it gives you license to shoot when you can see someone into the deep space, and Demare is a very attractive target in that opportunity.
Votsi under and gets Zani, quickly delivered to Laffy. Zani goes Rosie. Laffy, gainer to Gasperini. Some contact upfield, Zani on his back, holding the lower hamstring and or knee on that left leg. Let's hope he gets up all right.
Well, what I do see is some flexion of his ankle, which is good. That means the main controlling ligature might be intact. Perhaps a little bit of patella boshing. But as any ultimate player can tell you, the most fragile and vulnerable part of your body when playing this sport is usually your knees. There is a lot of torsion, twisting forces that are applied just due to the change of movement, the directional play, and the speed and intensity with which, of course, especially at this level, that you do see. So the entire crowd clapping him off the pitch. There will be an injury replacement as the time expires.
He's starting to put a little bit of his own weight on that foot, but certainly something that is not great for Bologna, nor Zani himself, of course, hoping for the best for him.
Well, they've got a deep roster, and I'm sure his replacement, I think it's Rossi. What a great replacement to have.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt any as far as personnel goes on this point. Gasperini to Sarako. Nice lead from Sarako back to Gasperini. Laffy comes under. He turns and looks. Dump back to Gasperini. And the defense was sniffing there. Gasperini in front of the end zone now. Votsi. Stall count mounting just a bit, and he gets to Gasperini. Votsi. Gasperini goes around. Sebarossi. Quick flick inside. Casanelli. Votsi dances. Dumps up and over to Gasperini. Back to Casanelli. He looks to Laffy. He turns and shoots. Mancinelli puts the goal in. Laotta put one more on the board, keep it within one.
Again, Arturo Laffi just eating up the stats in this game. Another assist for him, and that will apply another on the board for Laotta. So the game will be played to 13 total. So Moon with 2 to punch on the board, but Betrancourt getting bettered by the wind. You can see some of the Italian throws as well, sort of impacted by the changing wind conditions. But Arturo Laffi, of course, brilliant as always. Just sinking that break forehand. And another on the board. So, I would love to see, Steph, whether a zone or not, I would love to see the Laotta defense come out with something that's a little bit more heads up, a little bit more helpful. Communication, because that's some of the things that has really been working out for Mooncatchers and just adding that extra little level of pressure on their opponents. But of course, it have been very good performance, commendable for the O-line of Moon to this point.
Ort winds up, delivers right away. Carclinch is behind Novak and gets up big, as he tends to do. Brings home another for the Moon. Make it 12-9.
Yeah, Jan Novak, very big unit. Very tasty defender. You do not want to test him on a regular basis because he's passed all of his proficiencies in absolutely roofing you in the end zone. However, the Latvian cannot be disturbed on this occasion.
Yeah, there's very few people that you could really just shoot at will against a Jan Novak at, but when you got Carclinch on the other end, he is one of those players that you can sometimes just shoot at will. He's a get-out-of-jail-free card at times.
100%. That's why you invited him to CFC, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I need somebody to catch my swill.
But no, that was a really lovely play. Or it's opening up that big arm. The frames on this O-line. You've talked about the fact that they make these big fakes for these shots, Stefan, and they really do have genuine threats on every single pair of hands. Of course, Ort playing under the watchful eyes of his father, another of our second-generation athletes out here. Joran Ort.
Joran Ort came before the game. He's got a new wood crafting company. He's got me a nice little memento.
Absolutely.
Check out his Instagram page.
And we got a lovely shot there as well of Karlins, of course, formerly known as Orlovskis, but now Karlins having gotten married, so congratulations.
Arvids, the vids.
Watch him on tape, watch this one back.
Laffi. It is a game to 13. It is game point if Mooncatchers can break. Bologna need to extend this game. They go to Laffi. Laffi throws Mancinelli. He looks upfield, then to the backfield. Laffi zips one through to Gasperini. Gas goes wide, centering to Kais Mate, and Rossi and Desmarais go into a somersault together.
Yep, accepted foul. But I'm excited for that matchup, though.
Vandenbroek taps it in, and Mate looks upfield. Rossi catches at the knees. High release backhand to go around the mark. Inside Mancinelli, then he gets an open Rossi. Rossi goes to Mancinelli and gets himself open, but didn't get the disc, but Laffi is there. Laffi inside, Rossi on the doorstep. Faking away, does take the negative meters to Laffi for the reset. Laffi winds up the hammer, gives it. Gasperini puts the toe down. Make it 10 for Laotta. They live to see another point.
Wow, wow, wow. Just love this determination from La Laotta O-line. just really grinding every single point out. But this is where we need to see those tactical adjustments. You can see their coaches out on the field with the clipboard, running the numbers. But fantastic work. Of course, Mooncatchers deciding not to use this as an EUCS ranking points event by virtue of they wanted to blood in their new talent. They've got a couple of fresh faces that you've seen weaved in amongst the lattice of superstars we're used to.
I think they could have blooded them in and still elected to go ranking in hindsight.
Well, yeah, but it takes a little bit of the pressure off, doesn't it? It kind of, you know, it doesn't... If you know that you're in a game experience where you have to score the maximum points humanly possible, because that is what it's all about, to appease the mighty algorithm, is to score as many as you can for points difference versus your opponents in the ECS series. So I think it takes a little bit of the pressure off of those individuals when you know that every single point could potentially count.
Yonkers with the disc. Pressure on for the Bolognese. Can they keep him out of the end zone? Yonkers. Tight mark by Tognetti. Arders gets a touch. High release backhand as Mueller fills space. Mueller wound up. There was a deep cut coming. Oczynski and Ostri goes for a bid. You got to start going now. Yonkers gets Arders on the forward dance step. Now Blasman has a look for the championship here if they can convert. It's gone deep and they have not converted. And the first turn of the game for Moon has given Laotta their first chance to break, and a timely moment for these firsts.
Well, Talos are getting a little bit ambitious with that one, but it seems to have put enough pressure on Moon's O-line.
Back in play, Rossi to Jan Novak, who comes under. Around Simonazzi. He thought about the wind-up there, put it away. Gasperini, big meters to Rossi. In the middle, Talosri. Jan Novak now exchanging passes, short movement. Rossi thought about jamming it into Tognetti, but thought better of it and goes back to Tognetti. Can they break here and extend this further? Gasperini, still not yet. Rossi fires. Tognetti kick spike, and they've broken late in the game.
Oh, Stefan, that was quite the spicy D-line offense. I love the flirtation on the goal line with the disc, just saying, am I going to put it in for the tiny little pop pass that you're going to try? No. And actually the patience, and then that absolute cannon into Tognetti for the goal. Well.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, momentum still belongs with Moon, but there is now a seed of doubt in the back of their heads. They've been perfect all game. They have had their chance to seal the deal, and they have squandered the first opportunity. They will still have the sizable advantage here, but there is a seed of doubt in the head now, and we've got a timeout on the field.
Well, timeout being taken, which I think technically you're not supposed to in the last 5 minutes of the game, and we are well into the time cap, but they've gone for it, Steph, so we'll take a very brief break. We'll be right back for the conclusion after this.
Timeout, Laotta.
Come on, break!
Back in 12-11, Laotta just behind Moon. Hanny, things are heating up.
Oh, they certainly are. Well, the tactical adjustment in that point did indeed pay dividends. Perhaps a little bit of over-excitement from Moon. They haven't been turned a single moment in this game, but even if this one goes in favour of the Brussels-based athletes, it will definitely be a big raspberry blown in the face of that perfect record for Moon's O-line.
Bologna trying to win the crowd here, and I think they'll easily be won in this underdog situation. Yonkers and Blastman exchange. Yonkers, chance to win the championship here. Second asking. Ooh, a absolute wobbler, but they hang on. Desmarais gets it. Stacked lines on both sides. Arters. Up line cut, well defended. Now goes around Bontemps, and Austrie keeps coming. Every pass he has a chance, he's bidding. Bontemps goes back inside. Yonkers there. Pressure mounting everywhere, and turnover. There is a call on the play, but oh goodness, it is getting tight out there.
Well, the crowd never enjoy a foul call when the team is getting to a comeback. I think it's disc space, so maybe the violation of some such marking infraction seems to be the discussion being had on the far side. But I tell you what, we talk a lot about David Barsazi's body control, but Tal Osri really absolutely gunning for it and getting no touch whatsoever, but applying all of this pressure.
I don't know, watching that again, he pushes off a disc space and then pivots, and there's no touch on the actual throw. So he's called disc space, decided not to stop, made the throw, and then still called the foul. That's the way I see that happening. Am I wrong in that estimation, Hannah?
I wasn't paying close enough attention to the reset. I was thinking about Tal Osri's amazing defense, I'll be honest. Let's have a look, though. So you get the disc space here. But anyway, we'll play on. They're going to have to do it again, Stefan. They're going to have to do it again, but better.
Goes to Desmarais. It's low, but he rolls and picks it up on a commando roll. Ort fills the space. Ort fakes the big one. Desmarais and Rossi bang into each other again. Desmarais shows some frustration in the foul call.
Well, I think he's just frustrated to have been boshed in the shoulder, and Rossi does accept that one.
This time, yes, indeed. Ort swinging. Then goes the big hammer. Anybody's, but Osri gets in the way. BFD Laotta, a chance to send this to Universe. They're going straight away. Novak comes under. Now Simonazzi. Simonazzi goes to Tognetti. Straight back to Simonazzi in the guts. Tognetti. Gasparini underneath. Widen around. Simonazzi inside throw to Luca Tognetti. He thought about boosting it. He went high. Great catch there. And continued on. Gasparini. Having a look, didn't shovel forward, goes back instead to Tognetti again. Gasparini wide open to the dump space. Tightening up indeed here. Goes around to Rossi after the in cut wasn't hit. Now Simonazzi. He goes wide. Osri's there. Oh my goodness, Hannah. We're going to Universe Point.
Oh, and did we want anything less than this? Absolutely, categorically not. Did we deserve this game? Oh, Laotta did. I mean, goodness gracious. You said that Tal Osri was going to bid any disc that went remotely near him. And at long last, Laotta seemed to have unlocked the box, this Pandora's box, and they're bringing out all sorts of trouble. Almost a stall out for Ben Ort. He just has to throw a hammer with not enough float on it. You think about the matchups that you've got in the deeper space for Laotta versus Mooncatchers, something that had a little bit more time to sit. Yes, you've got the hospital pass element of it. You might end up with a big pack and a bit of a hit, but are we getting another timeout being called here, Steph?
Well, you might as well. I got to put my heart back in my chest. I don't know about you, but this is all happening right now a perfect offensive game for the Mooncatchers. Perfect.
Ruined.
Not a turn.
Nah, it's ruined.
And then out the window, out the back door, into the trash can, because not only do they give up a turn, but 2 breaks back to back to tie things up with time already expired.
I thought it was the Italians that had just gotten a nice wine, dark red wine, and just knocked it on the white carpet on the front lawn here in Bruges for the Brussels-based affair. But they've got an entire bottle they've uncorked, magnum size, and they're just sloshing it all over the place now. And this is what we come to these tournaments to cover, Steph. As close as it gets.
If you haven't hit the like button yet, you better go check in the mirror that you still have a soul, because this is the most easily likable game I've seen in a very long time. An instant classic. Can Moon finally do it, or will it be BFD with the late game momentum? Demarais puts the huck away, zips one into the middle to Oczynski. Oczynski has a look, goes to Arvid's car clinch. He thinks about the big one and doesn't do it. It's a very risky moment right now. Ort comes under. His last hammer didn't connect. Tight mark between Gasparini, goes wide. Demarais takes it in the backfield. Ort gets it straight back. Ort leads Oczynski. Osri has come again and knocked it away. Oh my goodness, Tal Osri is playing out of his mind right now.
That was insane. That was absolutely bananas.
I have never seen thievery quite like this, but the Bolognese may well steal this championship in ecstatic fashion. Tognetti goes forward. Giuliani hits the ground. Casanelli. Now Luca Tognetti. Not in yet, but on the doorstep. Going back to Casanelli. Tognetti. Oh my goodness, La Fotta have done it. Stolen victory with a run of breaks to end this game.
Wow. That was absolutely incredible. I'll tell you what, Steph, it's a really interesting game here. Obviously, such a dominant club season for Mooncatchers last year. This time around, though, here at Tom's Tourney, we have a new champion in Open Division 1 as well. Complete reversals of fortune across the fields here in Bruges. But what I really loved so much about the late stage play of Bologna was their intelligent placement of the disc. So many of those breaks of score were taken by just putting the disc towards the break side. That last one was an open side throw, but what an absolute grind. Really interesting. I mean, watching it back, you can have a look at the different matchups and actually how they changed when Bologna finally turned over Moon's offense. They actually changed the matchups completely.
Yeah, they just got that chance to put the defense on the field in a dictating position that we talked about, the seed of doubt. It turned into a mountain of doubt in the backs of their heads, and Bologna carried that momentum forward. Tal Osri, late game performance, incredible. Luca Tognetti, somebody get that guy a super team contract. They really picked up and showed the clutch nature of what this program has been developing for years. They have European Championship medal. They know how to win. And yeah, you talked about that reversal of fortunes. Sure, they started off and there was doubt in everybody's mind. What's happened to La Fotta? Well, this has just happened to La Fotta. They've won the championship in the most improbable of ways.
Well, you say improbable though, Stefan. Of course, it was La Fotta that started the game on offense. So technically speaking, we did some trading out here, but look at that for some stats for the game. The clean holds for Mooncatchers were so good up until the last few moments. Their conversion rate, as I say, they were going for a flipping clean sheet, and then the Fotta just said, nope, none of this. Actually, let's properly turn up and finish this, shall we? Wow.
Well, there's your match stats. There is your weekend here in Bruges, all wrapped up. Reading takes the title in the Open Division 2. Germany women take it in Women's Division. And here, right before your very eyes, BFD La Fotta have just taken the final championship at Tom's Tourney 2024. Put it in the books.
It's definitely an exciting start to the club season after the spring invite, coming here to Bruges, enjoying this wonderful atmosphere. Massive thank you, as always, to all of the organisation for putting on such a spectacular long weekend. But I'll leave you with this one from this game, Stefan.
Yeah, we've got a long
100% D-line conversion rate on chances for Laotta.
Hey, well, you can't get better than that as long as you get some Ds, and they did just in the nick of time. Well, it'll be a long time till we're back. Oh, wait, no, we'll be back next weekend on Solid Sports, but ULTI.TV will be producing. There will be all levels of production coming for the EUCS series from the Elite Invite, the top 8 teams in 3 divisions. So make sure you stay with us in the right platform to be able to take all that in. We're very excited to move down the road to Leuven and bring you that action. And, you know, to rather give a one last round of applause and big legendary call-outs to the people who run this tournament for the homage it's held for Tom and Boris and Glenn particularly. They are the most incredible hosts. They do such a great job with the tournament. They take really good care of us too, so we love them for that. But it is, if you haven't been to Tom's Tourney, get it on your calendar. And if not, just keep tuning in, and we know you're loving it, taking it in off the screens.
Yeah, you'll have to fight your tooth and nail and write a fantastic application, though, because, of course, extremely oversubscribed this event, but for very, very good reason.
Incredible stuff. Our crew here has done it. On day one, the weather was inclement, as you guys would have seen. They've stuck it out through some interesting conditions. It got nice today, but they worked their butts off for you. Noah, Emma, Rira, and Felix, they have done a bang-up job for us. We hope you appreciated it back home. Christina's been on the mic with us all weekend long. And, of course, we've been here through this game with Hannah Pendlebury. Always a pleasure to get the job done with you, Hanny. Thank you so much. I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thank you for being with us all through Tom's Tourney. We will catch you next time down the road in Leuven.
Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
For my heartbeat, so I'm laying low. Yes, I could rethink what I'm thinking.